let me do something that I'm afraid nobody wants to hear or know. Tell you why it's like this. Now, there's two things, first of all. When you talk about, as Trevor Scales just laid out, the bonus difference between the men's team and the women's team, between what a winner, if it had been the U.S. men, would get in the World Cup and the women. The women got a pool, or got paid out from a pool of $30 million from the Women's World Cup. The men would draw from a pool of $400 million, okay? $400 million, $30 million. Why is that? It's because the Men's World Cup generates $6 billion in revenue. The Women's World Cup generates $131 million in revenue. If you want to talk about pay disparity, the Women's World Cup players get paid out 20% of the total revenue. The men get paid out 7%. As a percentage point, they are getting much more. The problem is, for anybody desiring equal pay, and by the way, I think equal pay is a ridiculous concept in and of itself. If the women generate more revenue, they should get paid more than the men. Don't strive for getting the same, strive for getting what you're worth. And if you're worth more, then get more. And so what I'm saying to you right now is soccer, for better or worse, on the men's side, across this globe, is much more popular than women's soccer.
The women's game had higher ratings than the men's, though. So what do you say to that?
Charlie, that's in the United States.
That was in the U.S.
And that's comparing a women's World Cup final that featured the United States against a men's World Cup final in the United States that didn't feature the U.S. team. So you're asking, why didn't, and I can't remember who was in the finals of the men's World Cup at the top of my head, but why didn't that game outrate the women's World Cup final that featured the U.S.? Because we like watching the U.S.
Of course.
Here's the reality. If you're Rapinoe, if you're Morgan, and you're these stars and you're on the biggest stage, you have to make the push now. You can't wait. I love the move. And Will, I also understand the numbers aren't there. We're not questioning that. This is simple mathematics. There's not a big enough draw, not a big enough pull to get the money from. But as these women speak out, as they make noise, they're creating an environment in which they can be paid, in which they can be sponsor worthy, in which there's going to be other companies that are going to get behind them and say, man, I believe in women's soccer. I like them. Now they're stars. Now they have faces. Now they have personalities. Now these uncomfortable conversations are being had. Well, I'm a girl. I play, I compete just like the men. Why do they make 6 or 7 times as much as I do?
But you know the answer to that.
I know the answer, and I understand, but I'm saying to get there, you have to take a step in the right direction. And now these women just aren't names and numbers. They're faces, their personalities, their energy. Now I can get behind them as a brand. So I think it's something that they have to do, but I'm not arguing why they aren't paid as much.
You know, Megan Rapinoe has been making the television circuit. First she was in New York, then she was in L.A., and she was on MSNBC, and she was on with Rachel Maddow. And she was asked, what can be done from fans out there to help in this fight for equal pay? And Rapinoe's answer was, buy tickets to games, watch it on television, buy jerseys, buy merchandise. What Rapinoe, maybe unknowingly, is saying there is, this is an economic conversation. This is not a discrimination or gender-based conversation. Now, I tell you that discrimination plays no role in this, and I want to hear from you, Charlie. I cannot tell you that. But I can tell you, I can see the economics. I can see the massive difference in revenues generated. And I can see that that's going to have a massive impact on the amount of money that you make. And to Rapinoe's point, if you believe, if this is a big thing for you, then you might want to pay attention more than once every 4 years. Watch the NWSL. That's the Women's Professional Soccer League.
Let me ask you this way, though. Is she not doing what you just asked? So I understand your point was scream out and ask for more than the men. Well, if she just said this is realistic, well, pay us a little more. No, she said give us equal pay. And they know right now by sponsorship, by ads, by what they're bringing in, it's not equal. They're not bringing in the same numbers. So they are asking for a lot more right now than they deserve by saying give us equal pay. So, Charlie, I feel like it puts them right on par with, hey, this is better. We're getting to where we should be.
I mean, I don't think you can expect equal pay just instantly. I mean, I think it's something that we're traveling down that road to hopefully see. But I think the key to getting to equal pay is going to be more promotion,
Yep.
you know, investing more energy and efforts into promoting women's sports, soccer, basketball, whatever the case may be. Because when you flip on the TV or, you know, whatever media you're using, you're not hearing about the women usually. It's about the men's game. So, I mean, that's so critical.
That's a business analysis and decision. It's a chicken and egg thing. Do you invest to get the audience, or is the audience there and then the investment follows? I'm going to defer. I'm not going to give an answer on that, because that's for the people that are really in it to make money to figure out. If the investment is there, if the fan base is waiting.
It needs to be there. It needs to be there.
And
It's
Charly,
only fair.
if there's money to be made, the investment will come. That's one thing I know about the United States of America. If there's money to be made, the investment will come. And I'm running my head into a wall that I truly believe people don't want to know why these numbers are the way they are. They want to see high number, low number, and yell discrimination. But I am going to do my best to explain the why. Now, I told you about the World Cup, right?
Yep.
And what the payouts are. There's one other. The women are suing U.S. Soccer Federation. All right, the U.S. Soccer Federation does have a pay gap from the men to the women. Now, there are also reasons for that. The women's CBA that dictates what they get paid is 2 years old. So they negotiated this 2 years ago. They negotiated for more security. They get a base pay of $100,000. The men get no base pay. Everything they make is on bonuses. The bonuses are bigger. And if you make the men's squad and you play, you can make more money.
Get more
but
money.
you have less security. The women have a base salary and smaller bonuses.
Safer.
Why is that? Is it because they negotiated for that, or is it because of discrimination? I can promise you this. If it's discrimination, a suit will sort it out. They are suing. But right now, to me, it looks like economics, not discrimination.
And we have the same problem here with the WNBA stars. And here's the reality. When the WNBA started, it didn't make money. But the one thing they've done each and every year is they've grown in their product. They've grown in sales. They've grown in popularity. We have household names that are circling. The women are making strides. There's no greater time to ask for equality or ask for respect right now than in 2019 to be a woman. So, right? You agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this is the time, and the WNBA players are saying the same thing. They're saying we may not be bringing in the same NBA money, but our pay hasn't gone up the way we should be able to see it, and we know it's getting there.
Right.
Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.